We are in for a special treat this morning. The person who is going to proclaim the gospel by sharing his testimony is Andrew Miller. I'm going to invite Andrew up. And Andrew is one of our young adults. And something I want to share about Andrew is he has been praying about how God is leading him, what's next in store for him. He's currently a student at USF. You're in your senior year, right? So he's in his last year. And he felt like God was leading him to join the Navy. So he just recently went through all of the very difficult interviews, right? And is approved. So as soon as he graduates from USF, he will be heading to Navy OCS, which I believe is in Rhode Island, correct? Yes. And so we're so proud of him. He is going to make a difference for the kingdom through the United States Navy. And I'm excited for him. This has been a lot of prayer and a lot of discernment, right? So now we get to hear his story. So without any further ado, Andrew Miller.
So I'm going to be walking around a little bit. I might grab that mic just because I'm going to be going from side to side if we could.
Thank you so much, tech team. As someone who has been on the tech team off and on since middle school, a lot of this stuff gets unappreciated. We just kind of expect it to work, and we only notice it when it's not working. So can we get a round of applause for everyone on tech team right now? Because we have a lot of hardworking people that show up on cameras every week, people that show up, sound, lights. Mr. Mackey personally has been helping me. I could not have gotten a lot of my volunteer hours without the help of Mr. Mackey personally. All right. Welcome, New Hope. My name is Andrew Miller. I wanted to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to be here. And you may or may not remember that I spoke about 2 years ago around this time, around Thanksgiving, about my own personal walk and what it meant to be an ambassador of Christ. To give a little bit of a recap, just in case, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Andrew Miller, a chemical engineer, senior at University of South Florida. Not without some, it's been a labor of love. I originally joined to be chemistry. I switched because I wanted more math, and I got what I asked for. Every engineer in there will know it's a lot of math. But I love it. I love what I do, and I'm really excited to go into the next phase of my life. School has been great. I love my friends. I love here. I think that what I'll miss most about going into the Navy is that I'll have to find a new church. Sorry, it hit me when I said that, because some of this stuff doesn't seem real until you actually experience it. So I, like a lot of people who've spoken before me, grew up in the Christian life. I was very blessed to grow up within this church and have parents who were very committed to raising me with Christian values. However, as most people probably know, when you're young, you really only have your parents' faith. You only go to church because they make you go to church. You don't understand what it really means to be a Christian when you're just a little guy. Though I will say we do have some amazing young people, and even though I won't be as nearly heartfelt as everyone praying up here, because that was amazing, I do intend to try my best. So I really made my faith my own around college. I realized I had to put some of my own skin into the game. I'd been making a lot of poor choices that had been just leading me down a negative path. Emotionally, I was in a bad spot. But God always shows up when you ask him to. May not be in the way that you're thinking, but he does show up. So I remember walking across USF campus just in between classes one day over the summer. There's absolutely nobody because it's in the summer. And I'm walking down the courtyard, and there's two other people. And normally, when people are walking around and talking about Christ on campus, you kind of just walk past them, or I'm on a bike usually, so they don't stop me. But today I was walking, and they said, hey, are you a part of any small group? We're in a group on campus, and we're interested in, getting people to join our church. And so I was part of New Hope at the time. I was obviously attending, but I wasn't part of any small group. And at the time, we had a couple of small groups for young adults, but I feel like there was a little bit of a years gap where a lot of people were a couple of years older than I am or a couple of years younger than I am. So I really felt like I didn't fit anywhere. So being able to find a small group on campus exactly when I needed it really helped propel me into getting my own faith. And so that's what I really wanted to talk about today, is that everyone here should try to find their own small group, find their own community that keeps you not only responsible, but accountable. You see, from that first year, I went to having a small group and figuring out what it really meant to make my faith my own, to 2 years later, 1 year ago, hosting a small group. I was a resident assistant on campus, which meant that I was meant to be a leader on my floor and look after all of these freshmen, little baby USF students who didn't know what a laundry machine was. And honestly, I don't think much will change when I go into an officer program. I'll still have to deal with 18-year-olds who don't know what laundry is. So we'll see. Obviously, I joke. But when it comes to the accountability of a small group, nothing really beats it. To come and have a specific group of people that can just ask, what are the good things that happened this week? What are the bad things that happened this week? How is it with your soul? And I'll tell you, as someone who is pretty busy, or at least I think that I'm pretty busy, you feel like you can't make time. But hosting this small group was one of the best decisions I could have made because it forced me to make time. There would be weeks where up to 5 minutes before everyone's knocking on my door, I did not want to host. I felt like I had other things to do. I felt like I had deadlines to make. But there wasn't a single week where afterwards, after that hour or so, I was upset that I had spent an hour talking about our faith. And so it just goes to show that as long as you are able to make time, they will pay dividends. Finally, I wanted to give a brief point about how God has helped me through my interview process with the Navy. Luckily, I won't make you buy me a coffee afterwards if you want to ask me the full story. Because I love talking to people afterwards, so I'll probably be out in the sanctuary. Because normally I get the side eye from my parents, but I drove here today, so I can wait as long as I want. So it was a 9-month interview process. I started in January of this year, and I got it around this time last month. And just there's so many little ways that God showed up with deadlines, making sure paperwork gets done. If anybody has ever worked with the government, you know that there's a lot of dumb paperwork requirements, and it doesn't matter if everything's okay. The form's got to get done that says it's okay. From narrowly avoiding government shutdowns to get on flights to not having to getting into DC just before the hiring process gets changed and I had to redo all of my paperwork, I couldn't have been more thankful. To even the exact questions they asked in my interview being the perfect things of which I had studied the most. So, overall, I couldn't be more blessed to call myself part of the New Hope family, and I look forward to shaking hands with every one of you on the way out of here. Thank you so much.